Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Mindshifters Radio with your co-host, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce, and his wife, Jeanie. Michael and Jeanie share with you the wisdom of the ancient Aramaic internal process of forgiveness. They offer tools and support 5 days a week. They will support you in building a solid foundation within yourself to live in pure love. In Aramaic, Rachma. Michael is the author of So Why Is This Happening to Me Again? For more information on Michael and Jeanie, please visit www.whyagain.com. And now your co-host, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael and Jeanie Ryce.
To the brightness within you and the truth that is rooted within me.
Hi, and welcome to Mindshifters Radio with the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce. Our call-in number is 646-200-4169, and press 1 if you want to speak to Michael, and that lets me know, and I'll put you in queue. And right now we have David on the phone with us. There's nobody in the chat room, and today is Memorial Day celebration number 176. Hi, Michael.
Hi, sweetie, and welcome everybody to the show. Memorial Day is tied, of course, to Veterans Day in terms of the request we're going to make of you today. And we make the same request every day, and that is the request to become part of the team that changed the world, to shift the energy on planet Earth from that of war and conflict to that of peace. And, of course, the way that's going to happen, pardon me, is when each of us decides that today we are going to be responsible for forgiving some form of hostility or fear, not each other, not ourselves, but some form of hostility or fear that's in us that we are perhaps blaming another or even blaming ourselves for. And our offering is that the cause of war is this insanity of blame, that it's all everybody else's fault when there's something painful going on inside ourselves. This great trickster called the human mind, this totally untrustworthy servant until you take hold of its reins, will tell you any lie it has stored in it, and it will show you all the evidence necessary to make it true, all the evidence necessary to make you believe that what you're feeling is all somebody else's fault. However, I have a question for you. If they're the one with the problem, why are you the one with the pain? Why are you the one with the hostile words? Why are you the one with the fear? Because it's something happening inside of you. And the trickster, your so-called body's mind, makes pictures. And its pictures are lies. They're lies based on your internal beliefs. The only thing you can ever get to see through your human mind, so-called human mind, it really isn't a mind at all, is evidence of your own BS. And, of course, that's belief system. Anything that you believe, your mind will show you is true and give you all the evidence you need to back it up. And you'll notice when confronted, if you watch somebody who's stuck in a lie their mind believes, and they're shown totally, completely, and absolutely that belief they have, that reality they're seeing is a lie, the mind will instantly shift to another lie to convince them that whatever it is that they believe has to be true. Forgiveness is the tool with which you collapse that insanity in your human life. It is the ruiner of relationships, it is the destroyer of families, and it is the cause of war. So, we're going to change it. How are we going to do that? Well, the process of forgiveness is a tool with which you go inside yourself and change that dynamic inside yourself. And if you're not familiar with the conversation, if you're new to the show, awesome. We welcome you. We are delighted to have you here and to be able to serve you and support you in the process of healing and getting rid of this insane mind. If you want to acquaint yourself with the whole set of tools that we teach, start out, please, with the reality management process. That's the core tool we teach. And if you go to our website, on the right-hand side, the website is www.whyagain.com, whyagain.com. And on the right-hand side, you'll see a link that says Download Worksheets. It's about 6 links down. If you click on that link, the first 5 links will tell you all about the forgiveness process. It'll give you a written description. You'll have the actual reality management worksheet process. There are 2 radio shows, each one where we walk someone through a different type of worksheet. Awesome, powerful demonstration to the principle of forgiveness. And then the 5th link is for those people who tell us they don't have anything to work on, who actually believe that. And so we've put out there, Jeanie put out a list of some of the places there might be issues in your life. And for those who don't have anything to work on, if you look at that list and you can honestly say that you don't have anything there to work on, I want to touch the hem of your garment because I need your support in my process. And so we welcome you here to the show. And Jeanie, before we introduce David, because David's got something to share with us, is there anything going on in the chat room, or do we have any callers?
We do have a caller with their hand up. There is nothing going on in the chat room. So area code 951, you're on the air. Who do we have? 951.
Hello, 951.
Yes.
Give us your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Eureka, and I'm calling from California.
Welcome. Glad to have you on the show.
Yeah, I just had a thank you for having me on the show. I really just had a question about about me receiving a home or getting a home anytime soon, because I have a large family and I really need a house to accommodate my large family, and it may possibly get bigger. I don't know. I just wanted to know if you guys seen anything like that for me, or financially increasing so I can have that.
Well, we certainly hold the space for that to happen. Actually, we're on the Angels Radio Network, and you're actually looking for Carol Guy's show. I know she's on. I think she's on Monday and Friday mornings at 12 noon, I believe.
Oh, okay, so I got the wrong one.
We do a different thing. We're working with how do you move like for instance, if money's a challenge, forgiveness work is how you move the blocks out of the way to open the space to live in the natural abundance that we're designed for. So we're in a different place than doing that, intuitive reading type of thing that Carol does. Oh, no problem. We're delighted to hear your voice. And if you want to hang out with the show, you might find some of the forgiveness work that we're talking about useful if abundance is a challenge. So we do a workshop called On Creating Consciously that's all about how it is that we create our lives and the dynamics of that creative process. So that might be something you might want to tap into, and we hold a space of absolute total abundance for you.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for your call. All right. Well, David's got a thing that he's been cooking up, he's been working on to share with us. So I'm just going to open the space for David to say good morning. And is Dr. Tim with us yet, Jeanie? I think your phone's on mute, sweetie.
Well, I'm not sure if it's Dr. Tim. It's an 815 number, but it's a different number than what I have in my phone for him. So, Dr. Tim, is this you that's on the air with us?
It's me.
All right.
Well, hey there.
Good afternoon.
How do you be this morning?
Doing quite
Good afternoon.
Doing quite well.
Cool. Fabulous. And how is the happening that's taking place in Crystal Lake with the big move and all? How's that coming together?
Very well. I was just speaking with the minister of that Unity Church, and they're exploding with productivity and volunteers, and they're just having a wonderful time. And we'll be at our current location for the next 3 weeks. And then on December 13th, we will actually meet at the new church for the first time. So, but we're still in the Crystal Lake building we've always been in, and things are going quite well.
Cool. So for those who don't know Dr. Tim is a psychologist up in Crystal Lake, Illinois, just outside of Chicago, who has been for the last 6 years just in an awesome way running a support group, actually, that David started way back when. 6-7 years ago after he became involved with the work, and then when he moved to Heartland, Dr. Tim took it over, and so it's moving to Woodstock in 3 weeks. Woodstock, Illinois, right? About 10 miles down the road?
Yep, exactly.
Do we know yet whether there's going to be a group stay in Crystal Lake? Or?
Well, that's just something that will evolve over time. I think probably what will happen is that people who won't want to move all the way to Woodstock will start attending the group in Cary that's on Sunday nights that started this last fall when you came back to the area.
Right.
So we'll probably end up with one in Cary and one in Crystal Lake and grow from there if needed.
Fabulous. All right. Well, David has a program to introduce to us that he's been working on designing, and so David, I'm just going to turn the floor over to you and for you to share with us what day this is and what this program is that you're inviting us to participate in. And Jeanie and I are in and on it, and we're delighted that you're doing it.
Thank you very much. And first, Tim, congratulations. I think it is fabulous that
you speakerphone, David?
Pardon me?
Are you on the speakerphone, David?
I am.
Yeah, you got to take the speaker. You can't. It's too fuzzy. We can't hear you. When you come on the radio, I can hear you. You know, when we're talking personally on the phone, but when you come on the radio, the speakerphone's just too fuzzy. So if you'd come direct, that would be helpful.
Okay. How's this? Is this better?
Oh, much better, much better.
Good.
So tell us what
first,
you're creating.
First, Tim, congratulations. I just had a great smile from my face and a nice warm feeling to know that you're creating that new space for doing the mind shifters, and that you've really initiated the other one in Cary there with, and I think her name is Cary. That's ongoing, and to know that there's going to be a couple of them out there, and you know the word that I heard you use was needed, and you know I think it's certainly I think it is certainly needed wherever that the information is at with it. So thank you very much, Tim. I remember meeting you several years ago, and your participation in using tools has really supported everyone in applying them in their life. And along that line of applying these tools in life, some of the listeners may be familiar with a game that I created about 3-4 years ago called Building the Brain Cells. There have been several people that have been involved in it, and if you'd like to go to the website and to download a explanation of it there's a PowerPoint presentation there. And this past weekend, I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine, Terry Bowling, who has been playing Building the Brain Cells ever since its inception. And we recognized in our conversation that 2012 will be ringing in just about 40 days. And actually, it will be in 40 days. And Michael has advocated to groups all the time and to individuals that if you want to make a real shift in your life, and if you want to connect with your true essence at a new level, then do 5 worksheets a day for 40 days. It's a very challenging exercise to do. A lot of people have attempted it and given up with it, and a lot of people, there have been people that have completed it. The way that I've had my success with it, and most other people, is through making agreements with each other about doing it. So that's how the Building of the Brain Cells game created, and there's several phases of that game, and there is a request of appreciation if you play that game. Well, on Saturday, then I had the thought that why not that we have a group of people that we've taken a few things from that game and to commit to doing 5 worksheets a day for the next 40 days. And looking at that on an energetic level, on a frequency level, to have a lot of the things removed from our energy system so that we tap into that 2012 vibration, then I think it will open up a space, a window of opportunity for a lot of people. And it will take a real commitment for that to happen. And as Michael said, Jeanie and him have committed to it. Dr. Tim has committed to it. Terry Bowling, Bill Greenfield, Chuck Blanchford, Julie Haverstick, Nene. There's several people that have committed to doing this. And the agreement is this, is that you will do 5 that you agree to do 5 worksheets every day. It can be on any subject, and it can be on the same subject if so desire. And you keep that agreement every day. One of the challenges in making shifts is about having support in doing that and in being supportable. So one of the agreements to make in building the brain cells and in this particular game is that you will contact someone that when you've completed your 5 worksheets, whether it's through email, text, or telephone, and then can be a live phone call and or leaving a voice message with words to the effect, I've completed my 5 worksheets today. If a desire to have conversations with folks, well, then that certainly is available, and there are. It's an energetic way of really shifting through things that, on our own, it's very challenging to get through. I was talking with Magda this morning and a couple of other people and talking about that on an energetic level. You know, I believe that what was meant by when there are 2 or more that are gathered in my name, that it is a law of physics that when there's more energy that's put in that vibration, then it strengthens it. So if you are interested and would like to play the game, then you can email me, David Hayes, that's Hayes, at whyagin, WHYAGIN.com, and let me know, and or if you want to get on the phone, get on the show here and to ask some questions about it, inquire about it, and or put your name into the mix, connect you with someone that you can support and be supported in keeping this agreement. I promise you that if you choose to do this, that there will be major shifts in your life. And what those shifts will be, I have no idea. And I know that those major shifts will come in the form of support and an eye-opening. So if you're interested in playing or have some questions about it, well, then the lines are open, the chat room is open, and that's what I have to offer.
Cool. And David, one of the for years now, I have been inviting people to, when they do the Why Is This Happening to Me Again workshop, that's pretty much the way I close the workshop out, is with an invitation to do 5 worksheets a day for 40 days. And I can't tell you how many people have come back to me after that 40-day commitment and told me how just amazingly different their lives are. And so it's a powerful thing to do. When you look at the reality management worksheet process, basically what it does is it puts you directly in touch with your own dissociated mind so that you can change its content. In the ancient teachings, the term that was used to describe the dissociated mind, or what's also been called the unconscious, the term was the desert, or one of the terms that was used. And so you'll recall that 40 days in the desert is very powerful. You spend 40 consecutive days touching into your own unconscious dynamics, which if you do that worksheet process, you have to do, then your life is never going to look the same again. And then David took it to the next level a couple of years ago, as he shared. If whoever's moving their phone around could put it on mute, it'll be a little quieter. So David put the work to the next level with that 40-day thing of inviting people to be accountable with someone, and someone who they'll partner with. And as he says, each day you pick up the phone or you send a text, you send an email saying, I've completed my agreement to do my 5 worksheets. And so if you're not completing them, then part of the commitment is to be in touch with that person before the day is out so they can support you and assist you in moving through to the completion of that commitment. And, of course, it's a commitment to yourself supported by another person. So, David, thank you for that whole idea. That's awesome. And, Jeanie, do we have any callers calling in? Do we have any conversation going on in the chat room about it?
We do have Nene on the phone, so I've turned her on, and in the chat room was asked about how to contact you again, so I put in David at whyagain.com or 417-255-5894. So you may be getting some context about that, David. Thank you.
Okay. It's David Hayes at Why Again. Jeanie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeanie?
David Hayes at Why Again. Okay.
Right.
All right. And Nene, you're on.
And Nene, congratulations are in order. For those who have not met Nene yet, Nene is someone who went through teacher's training this summer at Heartland and went home and did her second Y workshop. She actually did her first one before she ever went to teacher's training. I had scheduled to do a Why Is This Happening to Me Again workshop in a community setting down in South Miami. And Nene came along with Jeanie and I, and the room was actually divided in two, and on one side of the room I did the workshop in English, and on the other side of the room, Nene did it in Spanish, and it was awesome. And so she did teacher's training, and a few weeks ago did her first English version Y workshop, and then has done, I think this is your third one on Saturday. She did one in a Spanish community, although I understand, Nene, that you ended up doing it in both English and Spanish. And so our most hearty congratulations are in order to you.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, my heart family. Yes.
So what do you have to share with us today, Nene? Tell us about doing the workshop on Saturday.
Well, yesterday, Sunday, it was awesome, and it was very interesting because even though it was just few people, the quality of each one of them in their knowledge about the spiritual work somehow, and also their willingness to heal, their willingness to take that pen and paper, willingness to follow, to do the prayer, to invoke Ruja, to do its steps. It was amazing. It was really, really very connected and very powerful. And if I was spoken about the law of resonance, they knew a little bit about it. One of them had already read your book 20 years ago. So they were familiar with some words, they were familiar with some ideas. So even though we had short time, I only had 2 hours, and I had to shift between Spanish and English, then I was able to concentrate in the worksheet because they already knew something about, they had some brain cells. So, but it was very powerful, very inspiring.
Well, Nene, I certainly acknowledge you that you got to do a workshop, a Why Is This Happening to Me Again workshop, and walk people through the worksheet in English and Spanish in 2 hours. I don't think I've ever been able to do that, so that's pretty cool.
Yes, yeah, it was really awesome. And then I stayed long after everything was finished. I stayed longer with one of the participants, and that extra hour with her, we did 2 more worksheets, and of course, always related with some issue that is internal to myself. In this case, as the facilitator, it was very powerful. I was really enthusiastic and very, very excited yesterday, and a lot of energy. And I came back home and did some changes in my own notes, and then planned Healing Through Relationships for December the 4th, and started, working already into my next workshop. And this morning I had a wonderful talk with David, And so I agreed on the 5 worksheets a day for the next 40 days. And also this big energy, of course, today I'm discovering more things about myself. I am unveiling the next layer of issues and pain and sorrow and things that I have to let go.
Well, that's just awesome, and we appreciate you having you on our team.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Nene, do you have any questions or thoughts for us, or anything else to share?
No, just whatever I commented, and I look forward to doing the Healing Through Relationships in December the 4th. And I want to quote from David that he said that exactly the same people that needed to be there was there yesterday, because even though the quantity was small, the high frequency, the intensity of the work was very even, very high and very even. And I am completely grateful that I was able also to deliver that information, because they knew a little, and I was able to enhance the information and walk them through their healing process, matching my own willingness, because it reminded me of when I started the job, doing my internal job. I did it with so much desire and decision to do it. So.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you for the call.
Yeah.
Dr. Tim, do you have anything to share about your observation of people who do the 5 worksheets a day for 40 days? I know you've had some people in your group doing that and actually extending well beyond the 40 days, but do you have anything to share about that?
Well, I want to acknowledge what David said without really echoing it. David said it's really, really difficult. And I think that in my life what I have found is that the difficulty dissipates as the promise of reward increases. And what I've seen is the rewards people get are so large that the difficulty can melt away with a little bit of persistence, and of course, as David has helped arrange it, with a little bit of confirmation and a little bit of support. The people that I know that have done the 40 worksheet today would never give up the benefits that they've received. And we have one gentleman in our group who has really expanded the group. When you were here, Michael, he probably brought 15 different people to your talks all by himself.
Yeah,
and he's had at least those 15 people, if not 20 or 25, that he's introduced to the group up here in Crystal Lake. And they all come on their own time when they want to and as they're able, so it's not like we have all 20 of those people or 25 of those people coming every week, but his efforts have expanded upon his completion of the 40 days of 5 worksheets a day. And he didn't get through it in exactly 40 days. He had to get his 200 done, he had to go a little bit longer, but the benefits are outstanding, and it's almost like what I was always told about education. You get out of it what you put in it. Well, it's exactly what happens with the worksheet process. And I was blessed to be able to attend a presentation on Saturday night up in Wisconsin at Lake Geneva by the invitation of this same person who's done the 5 worksheets a day for 40 days and who comes to the group on a regular basis and who's expanding the exposure to these tools throughout his entire network. And was a phenomenal speaker, a nationally trained speaker, and you would have loved it. I'm working on getting an audio recording of that speaker, and if I can get that recording, I'll send you a copy, Michael, just for your own benefit. But when you talk about the benefits, this individual has, just like a flower blossoming, has expanded in his reach and his effectiveness, and he credits much of it to doing the 5 worksheets a day for 40 days. So, and that's just one of the people who've done it. And I'm looking forward to the commitment with David here for the next 40 days, and inviting anybody else who may have the slightest interest to jump in and try it.
So is David going to be your accountability partner?
I think David has arranged it for me to be working with Terry.
Oh, cool. Okay, well, I'm going to be working with Jeanie, so that's awesome. And the presentation that you're talking about, if we get that, maybe check it out and see if we can have permission to perhaps put it on the website so it might be available to everybody.
Yep, I'll check out the options there.
Fabulous. All right. Well, David, do you have any other thoughts, anything to share? Is Terry on the phone with us by chance?
What is
Terry?
What's his phone number?
It's an 828 number.
There is an 828 on. Terry, is that you? Terry?
Magdalena, I recognize that laugh anywhere.
Well, by golly, it is. Why am I on? I didn't push any buttons.
we were looking for Terry, and I told Jeanie that Terry's area code was 828, so I thought that might have been him. Got on with us. Welcome. It's nice to say hello. We love you.
Yes, and I love you guys, and I'm so glad we're doing this. So I hope Terry is going to join in.
Magdalena and Chuck are in the process of getting ready to close on a piece of property right next door to Heartland, become part of the Heartland community locally, which is an awesome gift to us. We're delighted you're going to be our very close neighbors.
Very close. Yes, indeed. 5 minutes away. I'm excited.
Well, it's exciting. So do you have anything I know you've done the 5 a day for 40 days previously. Do you have anything to volunteer or to share in that regard, even though we put you on here as a surprise?
It is a remarkable experience. I think the first thing that I noticed with it is that was a long time ago when I first started doing worksheets, period. And the first thing I noticed was that my triggers were initially out there, outside myself. And after I went through those, I began to notice that my triggers were inside, that I am very much my own trigger most of the time. It's rare that it's really outside of myself. So there was an interesting progression, and so it has taken me, those worksheets have taken me deeper than a whole lot of other psychological and emotional work I've ever done in any form. It's terrific. I would urge anyone to do it.
Well, we're delighted that you're in the process of becoming our very close neighbor, and we'll look forward to you being there in December and hearing about you getting all set up to renovate and have an awesome home there. So, a blessing, and that your travel is safe as you pack and get ready to head to Heartland. I understand David's going to come down and help to drive back. Lots of things with get Heartland covered while he's gone, and we'll just see how it all unfolds. So, blessings.
Thank you so much, and it's great that David's coming. It's just
such a huge, huge support. And we won't keep him here that long. It'll just be a few days. But, yeah, I look forward to being part of the group and separate and yet part of that wonderful community. So I'll just be quiet now and listen. Do I need to push a button to get off?
No, I'll turn you.
Oh, all right. Hi, Jeanie.
Hey, sweetie.
Love you, dear. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, my friends.
Thank you. You too. We're thankful for you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, so I have remuted her, and she's the only 828 on there, so Terry must not be on.
Okay, cool. Well, is there anything happening in the chat room? Any callers that we need to address?
No, nobody has their hand up. There's several people both in the chat room and on the switchboard. And also we haven't mentioned it lately, but we do have a partner radio station that we're now not just on Blog Talk Radio, but also on Impact Player Music Nation Radio. And so a lot of people are listening on that channel as well. And I haven't figured out yet how to have them both on. So we don't really know how many people are out there listening, but we do know that, we hear every day from people who have tapped in and are appreciative of being able to have the support, even if they don't speak or they don't talk or whatever. And so our call-in number, if you do have something that you're wanting to ask a question about or talk about, is 646-200-4169. Someone in the chat room was asking about the other radio station. You can pick up the link on whyagain.com, but it's called Impact Player Music Nation Radio. I'll type it into the chat room. So that's all I've got right now.
Fabulous. David, do you have any more to share with us? Any other thoughts?
Yeah. One of the things that Magda was sharing with me this morning in the conversation was that she's been connecting with Derek on a regular basis, on a daily basis, and doing a worksheet a day, and that the value that she's received from sharing that with another person, that what I heard her say was, and express that on her own, then she wouldn't have been able to have the insights and the different healings of letting go of whatever it was that was surfacing for her. So I thought that was great support in knowing that there's some people out there that are doing it in that way. And one other thing that I'd like to read from the Mayan calendar of what the energy is for today, and it's 11. It's called resolution. It says, every new creation has to find its space in the universe. In the process of fitting in, quote, unquote, some modifications must occur. These changes are the energy of 11. 11 is the energy of dynamic actions facilitating change, simplification, and improvement. To those born with this energy, some persons are put off by too much change. Maybe you've noticed. So to me, I thought that was really such an alignment with what we've been discussing and talking about, that as soon as there's an agreement that's made, as soon as that I commit to doing anything, then there's something that I have to usually let go of in order to make a space in the universe for that to happen, which is, in my perspective, reference of the mind, that, what is it that I'm going to release and let go of so that I can expand and see something different with it. Kind of like the 20 trillion bits of information out there, Michael, that you referred to, and that my mind only holds 9 bits at any particular time. And what new information am I going to open myself up to that's out there? And for me, with playing this in 2012 and that energetic level and that frequency, who knows what's going to appear, what's going to be recognized. And as Tim was saying, the value from getting that, it's immeasurable. And once that we do have it, we have it, and there's no price that we could put on it to give up, or that we would give it up. And in doing that, it opens up the space for yet new understandings, new awarenesses with it. So that's what I have. And I invite everyone to if you're questioning yourself and having a conversation about all of the reasons doing it or not doing it, notice that that's usually the resistor, that comes up with all of the excuses and reasons and justifications to stay right where you might be. So that's my thoughts.
I would like to add, can you hear me, David?
I can, yes, Tim.
I would like to add, based on something, is it Magda who called in? What she said was that she's done a lot of different therapy work, and I don't know if she's worked with psychologists before, but I'm a psychologist, and I've had training in different therapy techniques for 37 years, and I'm thrilled whenever I have a patient that I've introduced to these tools and they come back and tell me that they've begun to do the worksheets, or they walk into a session with a worksheet out and say, can you help me through this? And the reason I'm so thrilled with that is that this empowers them to be doing their work even when they're not in the session with me. This empowers them to not have to rely on someone else for every little piece of growth and progress they make. And this gives them a tool they can use whether I'm available or they have a session scheduled with me or not, to remove anything that's less than love from their system, which ends up putting a kink in the hose or distancing them in relationships or creating anger or fear. So as a therapist and a psychologist, it's one of the highlights of my week whenever somebody comes in and announces that they've decided to do 5 worksheets a day, or that they bring a worksheet with them into the session and ask for my help in doing it. It's a very powerful tool, and it's every bit as productive as seeing a therapist. Now, it doesn't mean it's a complete substitute for any kind of outside professional help, but it is a very powerful process, and I would support anybody and encourage anybody who wants help and support in learning it and applying it.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Tim, and I've seen so many professionals who burn out, whether it's medical doctors or psychologists, psychiatrists, whatever. I've seen so many that burn out because so many people are so into the blame game, and it's somebody else's fault, that part of that whole belief system is that somebody else needs to fix it for me. I have no power. I have no power to change my life, and it's all being done to me by them. And the load on the psychologist, the psychiatrist, the helping professional, one of the highest rates, I don't know about psychologists, but I know in the medical community, the rates of alcohol and drug abuse are just phenomenal. And the reason is, I think, because it's like doctor fix me, doctor fix me, doctor fix me. And doctor hasn't handled his own life yet, or her own life in many cases. So, and so you get all these people clamoring at you saying, fix me, as opposed to support me in healing myself, that I'm the only one who can change my mind. The support professional can support me, but I, in the last analysis, have to do it. So to me, it takes the load off of the professional and puts it right back on the shoulders of where it belongs, and that's the person who needs to do the work and change their lives. And then the support person is there in the appropriate place of supporter rather than the fixer of the process. And of course, there are some people who live in such an ego state that they think they can actually fix somebody else, that that's their lot in life, and that leads to a whole other level of challenges and such. So anyway, Jeanie tells me that she has a caller. So let's invite our caller in and say hello. Welcome to the show.
All right, we have area code 413. I think that's Massachusetts area. You're on the air. Who do we have?
Hi, yes, Jeanie, it's Linda. Thank you for my DVDs. I just got them today. I'm so excited.
You're welcome.
I wanted to just say that I am new to the work, and I'm working with Julie, and I'm on day 17 of my own commitment to do the worksheets 5 a day. And this morning when I was doing them, I had an inspiration to send an email to my family members, my children and their spouses, my sister and brother, and I wanted to read it to you. And when I read it afterwards, and just now before Jeanie opened up the phone, I could see a lot of projections in there, so it's very interesting. But this is what I wrote. Hello, sweet kids and sis and brother. This is an offering, something of great value to you. Included is a link to a commitment to be read in the mirror to oneself every day. I wanted to send it in the run-up to Christmas. We can make a commitment to ourselves and each other to read it and live it. Just commit to doing this until Christmas Day so your mind doesn't go completely nuts. And I challenge you and myself. The more discomfort you feel when reading it means you really need to read it and live it. Whatever feelings come up, just breathe and let yourself feel and continue reading it. We have to be willing to release the crappy feelings to uncover the beautiful ones that are always here. I think this is the perfect time of year, the season of love, to actually get in touch and experience it and realize it is what we are deep down. It is very powerful. It carries a vibe that really is so uplifting and life-changing. I've been doing it for a few weeks, and I think it is so powerful in how it shifts your perception of yourself, your life, the world, and what you are here for. When I first saw this, I felt uncomfortable because I wasn't used to such sweetness for myself, and I thought it was a little too Mr. Rogers for me. That reaction, I have found, is an indication of just how jaded our culture has made us. Imagine we are more comfortable with sarcasm, put-downs, and nastiness to ourselves than with love and kindness. Interesting. Print it out, just do it, and see what happens, what opens up for you, really. Should you decide to accept this challenge, email me each day after you have read it to yourself, and I'll do the same. I know I can hear the groans already, and I have smiley faces. Beaucoup love, hugs, and kisses. So
Linda, that's an awesome letter. Congratulations on writing it. And maybe you could send us a copy of it, and we'll post it on the website as an invitation that people can send out. I think that's extremely well written and says it all.
Well, thank you. And the funny thing was, right after I read it, I sent it. I thought of this song by Jackie DeShannon. I think it was "Put a Little Love in Your Heart." And so I Googled it and I listened to it, and so many feelings came up. I was just sitting here bawling. So I did a worksheet. And what was interesting is the feelings that came were both, there was grief and loss, and also feelings of joy and love. So sometimes I have a hard time, like when you're deeply touched by something, whether it's, loss or grief. But I knew there was a mixture of both in there. So that was the first time doing a worksheet. I'd experienced sort of both sides. Does that make sense at all? Hello?
Are you still there?
Yes.
Yes.
Did I get cut off?
I was just saying to Linda that, once we decide to walk a new path, everything like the old path has to come up for healing, and that's exactly what you're doing, and I acknowledge you for your courage in being with your family and doing that. And perhaps, because there are going to be people on the show who are new, who don't even know what you're talking about, maybe you'd like to read that commitment to us and share it with us. Would you be up for that?
To read the commitment?
Yes.
The one I just read?
No, the actual commitment itself that you're sending to your family.
Oh, I'm sorry. All of a sudden, Yeah, let me get it's in my bedroom here. I'll just walk. Yes, I would love to read it, and I'm sorry, I just went into a fog. Okay.
Awesome. And while she's getting that, one of the things that inspires Jeanie and I, and we ask each of you to join us to be part of the team that changed the world. And we put that in the past tense because whenever we do there's a workshop we do called Getting the Stress You Need, where we talk about goals. And in setting goals, it's always about seeing the end from the beginning. Before you ever start, that you see the completion point that you want. And so be part of the team that changed the world. We'll post this letter that Linda's written, and it can be a base for you to send to your friends, to your family, to your loved ones, to your hated ones, if you happen to have any of those, and invite a shift and invite a change. It takes courage to do, and it is awesome the way that we watch family systems change. Are you back with us, Linda?
Yes, I have the commitment to myself. I promise
would you read it?
excuse me. Yes. I promise to trust myself enough to be willing to hear and speak the truth and treat myself lovingly, gently, and with respect. I will do this in my thoughts, words, and actions all the time. In every interaction, I will look for and acknowledge the highest and best in myself as I surrender to love, my true nature. Staying connected to my source, love, and nurturing that relationship is more important than any issue. If anything unlike love comes up, I will go to that quiet place within where love dwells. I'll listen to, welcome, and accept love's guidance. I'll be teachable as I ask to be inclined toward healing and shown how to keep communication open in all relationships. I'm willing to be responsible for my own realities and learn to keep love conscious, active, and present as I heal and celebrate life. Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Linda, and thank you for this call. It's awesome. It's, there's not much more heartwarming happening than hearing you share this and the changes that you're going to make, not only in your family system, but in the world. There's an awesome book in the Course in Miracles that says, when you are healed, you are never healed alone, and that the work you do will change the lives of millions yet unborn. And that's what you're doing, and we appreciate it. We've been working for 4 decades now to put this out on a global basis, and it seems like it's picking up steam in ways that I never could have imagined, and this is one of them. Your call is a delightful surprise today, and we honor you and thank you for the work you're willing to do, and for Julie in supporting you and getting on the path and doing it. It's fabulous.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right. Do you have any questions or thoughts, anything that we can support you in at this point?
Well, I did mention, I don't know what happened, but I went to this little spiel about how I was listening to a song and I got all emotional and I had mixed feelings on my triggered feelings, which were somewhere, maybe did answer it and I just didn't hear you. I felt a lot of grief and loss and also love and joy, and so it was a mixture of all kinds of stuff. And so I did a worksheet, and I've never done a worksheet where there was a mixture, and of course I've not done that many. It's only 17 days, but I haven't experienced both negative and positive feelings. And so,
well, one of the things that I know happens in many family systems is when someone goes to the grave, there's great grief and loss for people, and the reason for the grief and loss is the things that have been undone and the things that have been unsaid. And so I would offer that what you're confronting in yourself and your whole family system is those things that have been undone and been unsaid. And so I would imagine that the joy and the delight of being the facilitator for that, and perhaps the fear, and your own grief at the things that have never been handled in your family system. That's just such a common thing in today's world, and usually people quite literally take it to the grave. And you're doing something different than that, and that's a change. I can just about guarantee that's a change in your family system. it'd be a change in most every family system in the country to really be willing to do that. And so we hold the space for you to breathe and be in touch with any grief and loss, so that that becomes a burden taken off of your tissue structure and off of your relationships in your family system. And that can only, that's like this whole conversation that you're having is a major contribution to the request that we're making of people every day to put an end to war and to create a planet of peace, and that is to look at and feel and deal with those things that our culture teaches us you can't feel, you can't deal with, you can't change, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just, have another fifth of scotch and keep it hidden. And, I can certainly understand and relate to what's coming up for you as you do it. I know how many layers in 40 years of doing this work when I would discover when I originally wrote the commitment. And, of course, that commitment is on the side to self and also the third-party commitment. But I know that each time I would personally go through a conflict in relationship, I would look at the commitment and puzzle over and creatively figure out, okay, what is it that I need to add? And as I would do my own forgiveness work, I would tend to get the answers to, okay, here's what needs to go into the commitment next. And so that's fabulous that you're passing it along. And as you work with your family system and as you work with yourself in the mirror and the people around you, if you come up with any other thoughts that enhance the commitment for you, and this invitation goes to everybody, I would be most appreciative of hearing from you so that we can also pass your experience along to others. So delighted. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll keep you posted. Bye-bye.
Okay. Blessings. Bye-bye. And Jeanie tells me we've got a couple other callers on the line. So, Jeanie, go ahead.
We actually have 3 more callers on the line, and we're down to about 2.5 minutes. So I'm turning Julie on. She's next. The other 2 callers, if you would, call back in tomorrow. We would love to have you on first thing. So, Julie, you're on.
Okay, I'm on. So I want to congratulate Linda. She is doing absolutely fabulous work. I'm very, very proud of her. And I just heard her on the radio show. And, of course, I've done a few of those worksheets. I met Michael 25 years ago at Yellow Springs and I heard him, and I knew that was a way, that tool, that reality management worksheet was a way to change my life. And I did that 40 days, exactly what he said, and I have been doing 5 a day since then, pretty much on the average. And it has totally changed my perception of the world and the people that are in it. It's changed my family. It's changed my whole energy field. I just have such an embracement for love of everyone else, and it's just I don't know. It's like a new life. I can hardly even express what it is, except that every time I do a worksheet, I feel like I tap into who I really am and what I'm about. And, of course, I've been doing intensives at Heartland, and I support everyone coming and being part of that. Come out and do an intensive and join us in the healing process that happens here.
That's awesome, Julie, and I certainly hear you're speaking about the changes in your family system. The last couple of years of his life, to have your father at Heartland and to watch his tears flow and his opening happen in his healing process was just an awesome privilege to be part of, and you certainly opened a space for him that few men in their 90s with the kind of traumatic upbringing he had could possibly conceive of, and so I acknowledge you for giving him that gift in your family system and the whole world.
Thank you.
And we're to the completion of our show today, so I'm going to close it out with just the invitation, bring a stranger to tomorrow's show, and have the best year yet of your eternal life. Blessings.
Thank you for listening to Mind Shifters Radio with the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce, and his wife Jeanie, who present that internal Aramaic process of forgiveness. Michael and Jeanie are here every Monday through Friday on Earth Angels Radio. For more on Michael and Jeanie, please visit www.whyagain.com. That's www.whyagain.com.